Bang! So here we are for the second of my transatlantic match chats here on Rock Media UK. And it's with great pleasure that I actually got back-to-back drummers. I can't believe the first time I've done this, back-to-back drummers. So I'm very, very pleased to have Jimmy Berdine from Kickin Valentina. Kickin Valentina.
Fantastic. Pronounced it right. Yes, sir. Woo!
Just got the name of the band wrong. That was pretty good.
700 interviews, one correct pronunciation on the name. That's awesome. Go England.
We're there.
Exactly. Right.
So how you keeping? How's the weather in Atlanta?
Cold as shit right now, man.
Yeah.
It's about 35 degrees, which is about, I don't know, 0.5 for you guys or something like that. 0, 1 or something like that. I don't know. It's cold.
I'm metric. I'm still leaves me cold. Yeah, something like that. I'll go with what you just said. We're
nice.
Which is rainy.
Yeah, it was like 70 degrees. It was like 70 degrees 5 days ago. Yeah. And now it's like 30 again. It's
very busy year. I first came across you guys about 2020, funny enough. I was scrolling through Facebook as you do, and I saw you were doing a live video. So I actually sat in to watch it because it was bugger all else to do, wasn't it? Let's be honest, at the time. I thought you were great.
Yeah.
I thought really good stuff. I heard the track Sweat, and I thought, wow, that's a band I want to get to know. And then you befriended some friends of mine up in Nottingham, Lisa and everyone down here, the girls up there. They're pretty hardcore. And
we
So tell me a little bit about
Lisa
the
and Selena. You know, love those girls up in Nottingham. They're crazy. Love them. So yeah, I mean, you basically, I think you saw our live COVID thing, and I think we had like 20,000 viewers or something crazy like that. Raised a little bit of money to help over that wonderful pandemic that we had, and it was really cool that so many people tuned in. But Sweat was actually a song that we recorded in Denmark the year before, I think it was. We had scheduled a tour, and DK had just joined the band and started doing shows with the band. We were over in Europe, and the venue that we were supposed to play, High Voltage, which our buddy Martin owns, great place, small little place, pack it out all the time. It's great. Got shut down by the city. I don't even remember what the reasoning behind it was, but you know, he made right, actually paid us for the gig, and we didn't even play. Ended up doing like a 5-song set with our buddies and the Grumpinators from there. They let us actually join in and do the show with them as an opener, which was actually turned out to be a great show. The room, it was like almost like a theater, and it was packed. It was great. But, you know, our record label, Mighty Music, was like, hey, since you guys are going to be sitting around for a couple days now, let's get you in the studio so people can hear DK. And we're like, well, we just kind of started writing with this guy. We have a couple songs. We're like, we don't care. Get in the studio and finish them. We're like, okay. So Sweat, we had actually played Sweat and Easy Rider. We actually played at Bang Your Head Festival in 2019. It's on our live DVD that you can see on YouTube. But there was a song called Shakedown that we didn't finish, but we had to finish in the studio. We recorded at Medley Studio in Copenhagen, and that's what came. Sweat, Easy Rider, and Shakedown, and then a live track, Get Ready, from Bang Your Head, is what turned into our EP, and that's kind of what people got familiar with his voice. But actually, you know, Sweat is like we've been opening with that song. Absolutely, it's one of my favorite songs that we've written as a band. I just like the energy there. To me, it's very Aerosmithy. It's got a good little groove to it. It's catchy, and it's a good show opener. You know, it's got energy. So yeah, Sweat's one of my favorite songs to play live, and that isn't coming out anytime soon. So all good.
No, that's great. I love that. I was really into that. I got a bit of a connection with Copenhagen. They're a bit mad over there. I played there with a band a few years back, and it was the day of their opening of their Tuborg Lager. And the guy said, look, guys, I've got some bad news for you. I can't pay you any money tonight, but I can do this. And he took us down to this cellar. He had a fridge about 8 foot high, full back-to-back of Tuborg Christmas beer. He said, that's payment.
Love Tuborg. Yeah, Tuborg is amazing. It's my favorite beer in Europe, actually. Other than, every once in a while you run across a great beer in some small town in Germany. But in Europe, Tuborg and Jack Daniels. There you go. I'm happy.
Yeah, that's it. Now I've got some good news for you. We're playing with you, the Call of the Wild Festival, on the same day as well. So I'll catch up with my band Ransom back with you in, I think, when is it? May? When are we playing? May. Call of the Wild. Yeah.
Cool. Great festival.
We'll do a few Jack Daniels that day. I'll tell you that if you're all right.
After I get off stage, yes. I don't drink before. I really don't drink at all, but I will have a couple after the show. But because I think we have, I think we play on Saturday, and I think we have that Sunday off. And then we go out and we do a run of shows that whole next week. But Call of the Wild Festival, man. Raz, Dave, they all do a great job over there, and it's we've played now all 3 years that it's happened. The guys that organize it kind of been calling us like the house band, which we're fine with because that entire audience are our friends. I mean, all the Stone Dead people are there, all the Call of the Wild people are there, all the Hard Rock Hell people are there, and it's cool. It's like an intimate little thing. I'd like it to grow a little bit for the guys, but I really dig the smaller festivals because it's, you have the opportunity to mingle and chit chat and make new friends. And, you meet the majority of the people that are there. I mean, that's how Stone Dead was huge for us last year because of Call of the Wild, because there were like 50, 60 people from that festival there that all talked us up and, oh my God, they're amazing. You got to check them out. So that really helped, going on at 12:30 in the afternoon and having, 4,000 or 5,000 people in front of you at Stone Dead. Call of the Wild's a major contributor to why we had such success at that show. So, Raz and Dave and everybody else involved at Call of the Wild, they have our hearts over there in England. They're great people. So we love that festival.
That's really good. It's nice of you to say that. They are a good team. We're very lucky. We've got some great festival organisers, as you say, with those boys, with Raz and the Call of the Wild, the Stone Dead Festival, plus also with HRH, and we got one this coming up in a couple of weeks. We're playing in Leicester, which is the new wave of classic rock. I don't know the titles, but that's a great one to do.
Nice.
But something I like about you, which you're a very cultured fellow. I travel a lot, and when you came over, you did something a couple of years back, which we touched. You went to Normandy. My granddad's buried in Normandy, and I went to visit him,
really?
My family to see his grave, and I saw you do that, and I thought that was a really lovely thing that you did there, that post.
I went there. We had a tour last year. No shit, it was this year. We toured in Europe this year. We did 18 shows and 3 festivals over in mainland Europe in May. And it was kind of weird because Europe was still kind of coming out of COVID. So some of our early week club dates were kind of but by the weekends, it was killer. The festivals were all great. We did Nordic Noise, which is our record label in Denmark. That was awesome. I finally got to play Amgerbu up there in Copenhagen. Nice little venue. That was great. We did Wildfest with our buddy Jan, who throws that over in Belgium. That was great. We had Stone Dead, we had Hard Rock House. I mean, last year was full of festivals. But anyway, Normandy. I am a massive, massive history junkie. It's amazing. When I travel, I almost annoy my guys in the band sometimes because I'm going to a damn castle, I'm going to a battlefield, I'm going to a bunker, I'm going somewhere in Europe that has some kind of history behind it. I don't care how old it is. But I went and stayed with a friend of mine in Bruges for a couple of days. We went and saw Hitler's Atlantic Wall. I saw all the trenches from World War I, World War II up there. A couple of V-1 rocket bombed out by the Allies over there in Belgium. It was just really cool. Then I went to Paris, stayed there for a couple of days, and went over to Normandy. And talk about emotional, man. We went into Bayeux, which is where the military graves for the Brits are.
That's where my granddad is. Yeah, there.
Yeah, we drove right past that. And I was like, but when I got over to Belgium, man, to talk about, I'm pretty pro-American. I'm a big patriot over here. I love my country. We're a shit show, but I love my country. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, to go and stand on those beaches on, D-Day and, put my hands in the sand where all those guys gave their lives and, just absorb the atmosphere of how the French treat Americans right there on the coast. And they think any American over there in Normandy is a hero, which is crazy. All the reenactments, all the military equipment that's still running. I met a girl at there's a restaurant right off the beach, and there was a girl there that was speaking like perfect English, and I was like, "Where are you doing? Nobody speaks English. What are you doing?" And she's like, "Well, I speak English. I lived in the States for a while, but my grandparents own this restaurant and they're French, blah, blah, blah. And I go between the two countries." I'm like, "That's funny. I'm from Chicago, originally." And she's like, "Well, I stayed in Chicago." And then we got to talking, and she's like, "I actually stayed in a small town in Indiana." And when she said the small town in India, that's actually my hometown. She lived like a block and a half from where I grew up in Maryville, Indiana. And we just hit it off. And she actually ended up giving me a ride to the American Cemetery and dropping me off. I mean, it was just the whole experience, educational wise, emotionally for me. I probably have 20 books on D-Day. I have a whole stack of books over here on my shelf that's all Mafia, World War II, and Civil War books here in the States. So I like Egyptology, all kinds of stuff like that. Roman history. I'm really getting into your history over there in England now that I've been over there a bunch of times. I was just in Edinburgh a couple weeks ago for Thanksgiving. When I go back and we play Nottingham, Lisa's going to take me around to like Sherwood Forest. I've already been to Nottingham Castle.
He's not real,
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, I know, but I'm just, it's the history thing, the Robin Hood statue. It's just, what,
when you go back,
I'd taken all that.
When you go back, you can tell Kevin Costner that you can't actually walk from Dover to Nottingham in a day because in the film, I think he thought he could. Anyway,
exactly. Well, I don't really watch.
That's what I found really impressive about you. It was lovely to hear you say that, and it's coming from the heart, and it's something that's it's something close to me. My granddad was killed World War II in a tank. He was a tanker on D-Day landing. So I visited Bayeux and at the cemetery, and it is very, very moving. What I want to do is, changing back to the band. I know it's hard for you to talk about Kickin Valentina, but what I do like, I was talking to Baz from Massive Wagons the other day, how you got the name. Now, this is what I'm told. I am told that this is named after a porn star who liked kicking men in the testicles. Is that true?
We'll go with that. Yeah, there is a former fetish star out of Germany named Valentina, and her fetish was kicking dudes in the balls, Kickin Valentina. Wow. Sure. That's amazing, isn't it?
Oh, that's just incredible. I love you even more now.
Pure class. We're just a classy bunch of tattooed long hairs.
That's what I hoped.
Yeah, exactly.
Now you're going on from here. You're coming back. You're going to play the Underworld, aren't you, in Camden? I'll come see that one. That's in June the 3rd, I think. So you're coming to London.
Oh, yeah. We're playing with Tiger Tails over there. Actually, really excited about that. I remember buying the Berserk record back in like 89 or 90 or something like that. And 6 Sex and what's that opening track on that record? Anyway. Anyway, yeah, that should be a good show, man. From what I'm saying, from what I'm hearing, what the promoter Underworld is saying, and Lisa helped us get that gig. I'd be upset if it doesn't sell out.
Yeah, well, I'll do my best. Obviously, when this interview goes out, we'll just tell people, say, look, after Call a While, come down to Camden. The Underworld always does. In Camden, people come out to see bands. It's a great place to play. I've got a good Don Dokken story.
Yeah, we played
about that place. Remember Dokken?
Don Dokken?
Yeah. Well,
I love Dokken.
Years ago, he came over. He played at 88 Wembley supporting AC/DC, and we steamed to the front. No one else was interested in him, but we were. So we were going mad. And he came on with a can of beer, and he drank a bit. He chucked it to me, and I drank it. And I thought, oh, cheers, Don. Nice one, as you do. 20 years later, he's playing Camden. I was going through some old things, and I kept the beer can. I thought, wouldn't it be funny to turn up to Camden, go and tell him? I was standing in the front row, Anyway, I went straight up to him. He come straight out of the bar. I went, hey, Don. And he walked straight past me, ignored me completely. I went, oh, that's it. That's my Don Dokken story.
That sounds like Don.
Mr. Scary.
Yeah.
So you worked on some new material. Is there a new album in the pipeline?
Oh, man. Yeah, I just finished up last night. I got home at like 9 o'clock last night, finishing up, laying down 13 tracks for the new record. We demoed 16. We probably wrote about 30. But the ones we took, the ones that we felt were the most anthematic, sing along, shake your ass, bang your head kind of rock songs that we could pick. And we were going in, going to do 12. We ended up recording 13. We're going to make some decisions, on a song or two. I think the record's going to have 10. And then we're going to do a Japanese release with a bonus track, which makes 11. And then the record label wants like a single to put out in summer because the album's not going to come out until November. So they're going to want a video and a single just to kind of tide people over through the year, since we're going to be doing some shows overseas. And, when being our labels overseas, it's going to get over there and stuff like that. So, yeah, we're excited about it. It's a little different. It's a little different.
It's interesting. I mean, apart from the fact that you can't stand singers and you keep getting rid of your singers, is there a reason for that? What happens is a bit like Spinal Tap. The singer goes.
We only got rid of one. Yeah, we only got rid of one singer, and lo and behold, this is our 10-year anniversary. And we were talking about this last in the studio. Around this time, 5 years ago, is when we called DK to join the band. So he's been in the band as long as the original singer. The other two guys were just fill-in guys because we had dates. We don't cancel. And we had to go do these. Like, I think there was like 7 shows that we had booked. And we had a buddy here in Atlanta go up and do some shows in the Midwest. Then we had another guy that we thought was going to join the band, went out west with us. He flaked on us. So then we're like, okay, what the fuck? Called DK. And funny story is DK was the guy that we originally wanted from the beginning of this band back in 2012 when Pepper and I put it together. But financially, he lives in California. We live, we couldn't afford to fly him back and forth. He couldn't afford to fly back and forth. You're talking like $500 a trip. We didn't really have, other than, 2 records. I mean, he would have to learn the material and stuff, but I really wish that it would have happened earlier because DK is such a great showman, and he's so motivated. Motivated and driven. And, he likes to hang out with people, just like the other, bozos in this band like to do. We like to meet and mingle and get to know our fans and hang out and have a cocktail and just, we're a bunch of social butterflies, and DK kind of fit that mold perfectly. And he's like taking that by the reins, and people love him. And, it's one of those things where, I almost can't even see this band without him in it now. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's my boy. That's my roommate on the road. He stays with me when we rehearse and we come over here and write and shit. He stays in my house. I love that guy. He likes my coffee.
That's great to hear him. He does. He fits the profile straight away, and that you look like a band. But what I'm really impressed with I don't know who looks after your PR, but the way you go about things, the way you've gone about. Certainly, I can talk about in England from what people are saying from the shows, and in Wales as well, Scotland. People are really impressed with the way you go about your business. Not just you go on there, you do what you say on the tin, you go out there, you kick ass, you give it everything you've got, but you also have time for people, you have time to chat, and you spend time with people, and that's how you win people over. And it's brilliant. It's brilliant that you're doing that.
Yeah, a lot of bands don't seem to, there's really 2 directions you can go these days in rock and roll, because rock and roll, obviously, at least in this country, isn't in the forefront. It's more of an underground kind of scene. Your scene over in England, holy shit, man. You guys have so many great bands and so many great venues and so much shit going on in there. I'm kind of jealous I don't live there, because I would be out every night. But there's 2 ways you can go about it. You can either have a shitload of money, buy onto everything, pay for everything, go out there, try to buy your fans and do whatever you got to do to get on tours, or you can bury your head and dig a nice little trench and fight your way into popularity, and you be cool with your fan base, and you can come friends with your fan base, and you can actually win over a crowd one person at a time. And that's kind of how we did it. We just did grassroots marketing, talk to as many people as we can, befriended as many people as we can. All you got to do is be nice and talk to people. It really doesn't take much effort to shake a hand, say, hey, man, I really appreciate you buying that CD. That means a lot to me. Sure, I'll sign it for you. Hugs, kisses, they're on their way. Fan. It's difficult. There's no need for attitude anymore, because, you're a flash in the pan. People get pissed off at you, especially if you're not big. You're done. You know what I'm saying? It's over. You know,
You know,
you have to be responsive to your audience.
it's great to hear you say that, and I think that's going to wish more and more people like that. For people out there who don't know who Kickin Valentina are, and I can't believe there are now these days. I mean, you're ruining the roost. Somebody New was the song that kind of broke it over here. People first sort of really heard of you. It's a very very commercial sounding track, and obviously with the sounds of Sweat and Easy Rider, and the album is called The Revenge of Rock, which I guess I'm just thinking outside the box had something to do with coming back after COVID. Is that am I right in that?
Yeah, 100%. That, you know, coming out of COVID and the fact that, you know, we pride ourselves on being a standard tuning, school sounding, you know, riff guitar solos, driving drums and bass rock band. No, we're not trying to use backpacks. We're not trying to drop D tuning. We're trying to write rock music the way rock music was, you know, back in the Zeppelin days, the AC/DC days, rock and roll, real rock and roll, not this programmable shit. You know, it's just old school, like original rock and roll. This is, you know, bluesy. There's blues in there. It's heavy. It's got a groove to it. Girls like to dance to it. Dudes can shake their heads to it. Next thing you know, we're drinking, and then comes the sex. Cheers.
Yeah. That's amen. Yeah, it's great.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, you remind me a little bit of it's slightly different, but Nashville Pussy when they came over. That same kind of
They're from
attitude.
Atlanta. They're from Atlanta.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, they're I've seen him open for Motorhead. That was a great night back in the day. When I hung out and met Lemmy actually poured me a Jack and Coke that night. You know, I was at that show. I was just, you know, flabbergasted I could actually hang out and talk to Mickey D because he's one of my idols. And my girlfriend at the time, not girlfriend, but female friend, she worked at the venue and knew the guys in Motorhead. So my roommate and I went backstage and we were hanging out and, you know, talking to Phil and talking to Mickey. And of course, Lemmy walks in, sits on the couch, had a 2-liter of Coke and a bottle of Jack Daniels and a stack of glasses. And I leaned over talking to Mickey. I said, "Excuse me, Mickey," because we're talking about like the King Diamond days and the Don Dawkins solo record. And we're just going through all of Mickey's career. Because like I said, my jaw's on the ground talking to this guy. He's a god to me. And Lemmy, I just lean over. I go, "Hey, Lemmy, nice cocktail, sir." He goes, "Oh, hey, mate. Come on over. I'll make you a drink." So Lemmy actually poured me a Jack and Coke. I'm honored and I miss that man.
He's a lovely fellow. I'm lucky enough to rehearse next door to him. We used to rehearse next door to him, one of my old bands. Met him on quite a few occasions. Had a drink with him. Made a complete cock of myself the first time I met him, I have to be honest. But after that, it got better. And I've got a nice Killed by Death 12-inch within two Hurricane he put. Love from Lemmy, and I've got that. I've hung that on my wall. So.
That's so amazing. That Waterloo venue that Ian has over in Blackpool, boy, that back room, boy, I can't leave that back room. I sit back there and just look at all the memorabilia, lean up against the Murder One racks, and I'm just like, oh. I'm a big Motorhead fan. I got, you know, what's that called? Louder Than Anything Else in my car right now, actually. It's just I would go and see Motorhead every time they came to Atlanta.
You should have rehearsed next door to them. You couldn't hear yourself play anything. They were so loud. You come through about 4 feet of brick wall.
Oh my God, I would have absolutely lost my mind. The only famous bands that we've rehearsed close to was the band Blackberry Smoke. They're good friends of ours, but they used to be in a speed metal band back in the day in the early 90s called Nihilist. And it's all the grovel and Slipknot shit that they're doing now. Nihilist was doing that in like 91. So Britt and Richard have been friends of mine for like 30 years, but there's your famous band, I guess, that I rehearse next to.
Well, you're famous now, Jimmy. It's the world's at your feet. You're tearing it up. People are loving what you're doing, and you've got some great friends in this country. People are talking very highly of you. And whenever your name is mentioned in my circles, wherever I go, people, speak about you with reverence, and you've done a really, really good job. I'm personally really looking forward to meeting you at Call of the World and having an orange juice or tea or coffee or whatever it might be.
Yeah, bottled water, something like that. But I'll probably have if you have that Motorhead Stout there again this year. If they have that, I'll have one of those. That was fantastic. But yeah, man, I appreciate that. We've really fallen in love with England and all of Great Britain. Really, we haven't been to Ireland yet, but we will. For Christ's sakes, my bass player married a girl from Carlisle. So, I mean, it's, obviously we love England and everything about it. We're excited to come back, and, the fan base over there is it's really cool, and we just want to have fun. That's it. We're not trying to be serious. We just want to go up. We want to entertain. We want people to enjoy themselves. And then we just want to hang out and have a party. That's it. Nothing crazy.
That's good. Well, that's going to happen. It's a given. It's been an absolute pleasure. It's been difficult getting the technical side of it to right. I think there's a hurricane or something blowing over there.
I don't know.
Who knows? But, ladies and gentlemen, so if that's it. I mean, the album at the moment is called The Revenge of Rock. They're working on a new one. It's got 10 songs. It's on the Danish label, which is called Mighty something.
Mighty Music.
Mighty Music. And you remember, Tusind tak, vi elsker jer. It's my money Danish, I know. And when that comes out, it's going to be great. But in the meantime, Jimmy, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Thank you for your time this morning. This has been a great chat, and I think you're going to make a lot more friends in the next 2 years or so. When people come and see them, Kickin Valentina are one of the best live acts out there. Come and check them out.
I appreciate it. Matt, thank you so much, Matt. I really appreciate all the kind words, and I appreciate you asking me to do this. It was...
Oh, you're one of the first people I wanted to speak to.
Nice. Thank you.
Jimmy, Jim.
Well, cool. We'll see you in a couple months.
We'll speak soon. God bless.
Awesome. Cheers.
Bye.
Thanks.